Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Nisi and this is Godfidence Hub, where we are living life through God's lens. On this channel you can expect content about faith, faith-based content, lifestyle, and motivation. On today's video, I really wanted to chat about why I quit my job. This video is going to be a long one, so if you want to just put this in the background while you're washing dishes or you're doing something else, that's totally fine. All right, let's just jump straight into it. I quit my job a couple months ago, and I mean that was not my first job that I quit. But let me backtrack a little bit. I started working for this company right after the pandemic, around 2021, I would say. Guys, it took me about 300 applications to get this job. Very short, that job hired me, right? I started working for them. I kind of knew I hated that job from like the first week. My training was really good because our instructors were really good. So training went by fairly quickly. It was about 2 weeks. It was good. But what I noticed about the company is that they lack structure from day one. I picked up on that, but I'm like, you know what, girl? 300 applications later, you finally have a job. Praise the Lord. Let's keep it moving. So I stayed in that job, not only for 1 year, I stayed at that job for two plus years. Okay. So within the first month, I hated the job, but I still stayed because I have bills. It took me 300 applications to finally have one yes. So I figured I was operating in lack of, scarcity mindset, and that lack mindset. I was scared, not trusting God, thinking like, if I quit this job, it's not gonna be good for me. So I kept on going. So within 4 months into the job, I get called into a Zoom meeting. They're like, hey, I think you're doing great. So they handpick me and 11 other people. I think it's like 12 of us total. They handpicked us. They say, hey, you guys are among the top agents. We like the way you guys operate. You guys are very professional. We have some new clients coming on, and your supervisors handpick each and every one of you to join the project. So of course, guys, this new project, it's not increased pay. It's the same pay. They wanted us to handle, white glove service to the other clients. So fine, they didn't, we joined, we're like, whatever. So mind you guys, on my regular side of things, I was getting like 100 calls. Like anywhere from 80 to 100 calls a day of people. So can you imagine just talking to 80 to 100 people? And I worked 5 days. I was full-time, the 2 days off. So I'm going. The job started stressing me out the first year, but I just kept on going. Of course, with this new position that they gave us, the call volume did decrease because we were on a different side of things, which was really good. So within the first year, I found a way to kind of maneuver in the job. I made several changes. I requested days off or vacation. So I found a way to survive the first year. I requested them to change my schedule to 3 days, 12 hours. They agreed to that. So I had I had a lot of days off back to back, and I was only working Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I was off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So, it was good. I did different things. I found a way to survive the first year. But the second year, things really started getting hard. At this point, 2 years in, I did notice that the company went through a few rounds of layoffs. They didn't say, hey guys, we went through a layoff, but I'm very business minded. I like to pay attention to trends in the business world and things of that nature. So I did notice that, all the big dogs were gone. So I didn't say nothing. It didn't really affect us because, we're like basically customer service agents. And of course, when we started that job, we were told that this is not a regular call center. We're not going to be treated like that. We were treated with respect. We're treated with blah, blah, blah. They gave us a bunch of fancy names. And guys, in the beginning, it was okay. The call volume was high, but it was okay. We felt like the company cared about us. We were getting like little treats. We were getting little stuff in the mail. We were getting like Valentine's Day gifts. We were a little spoiled. We were getting like random gift cards and things of that nature. So in the beginning, the first year was decent. The second year, guys, that's when it started getting real. The company grew really fast. And I think, of course, in their mind, they were just thinking about money, 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 money. They didn't think about, I don't think they thought out the whole process when a company is growing at that rate. It was growing so fast. So the call volume went up, everything went up. So second going into my second year, y'all, I started noticing that my body's telling me like, yay, stop playing with me, girl. Stop playing with me. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I have bills. I have to work, blah, 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 blah. And at the same time, I was studying to become a loan officer. So I was trying to take my tests. So all this time I have work going on, the work that I'm starting to really hate, plus studying to become a loan officer. So finally, I'm going to skip through a little bit. So finally, I become a loan officer. But as anything that deals with commission based, it really takes time, right? You have to build your clientele. You have to get to know people. People have to trust you. You have to go out and find people that are looking to buy a house and things of that nature. And the economy at the time was kind of doing its thing. Some people are waiting because they think interest rates were going to go down again. So it was a bunch of different factors at that time. Some license, congratulations, I'm a mortgage loan officer. I'm still working at the other job because the mortgage job is not paying me. So I'm just trying to do all these things by myself, right? So I'm like, okay, I got this. Once I start making money with the loan officer, I can leave this job. Ciao, it did not go accordingly, okay? Going at this job, the jobs started getting worse, okay? So they started having all these new rules. They started being really strict. They started with micromanaging people. If you're on the phone for 20 minutes, a manager's messaging you hey, what's going on? Do you need help? Why are you still on the call? Workforce is sending me emails, hey, can you wrap up the call? And I'm so it's just the company lost its I don't want to say integrity, but the way the company was doing business, they kind of lost that. They were just we became work slaves. Get to work, don't chat up with the customers, just do what you need to do and move on, right? So of course I was doing that. So my QA scores, this is on year 2, my QA scores started going down because I've always had high QA scores, but I was always in the 90s. So I started getting comments on my QA score the agent is very professional, the agent is very knowledgeable, but the agent lacked empathy, and blah 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 blah. And I'm we're taking 100 calls a day. There's only so much empathy I could have, right? So it gets better than that. So around 2 years and 1 month in, the company goes through a third or fourth rounds of layoff, and these layoffs start affecting us agents. So before that happened, I was talking to my friend the day before, and I was like, girl, something is up. I feel like a layoff is coming. Like I said, I'm very business minded. I follow patterns and trends. So I'm paying attention to everything. I'm noticing that the call volume for a week or 2 was extremely slow. I'm talking about slow. They're sending people home every day on voluntary time off. Hey, you guys can go home. And I'm noticing the call volume is very slow. They're sending a lot of people home. Business is not the same. So I was like, you know what? Something's coming up. A layoff is coming up. It's common sense. I knew a layoff was coming. I told my friend, I was like, girl, I hope I get laid off with some severance pay, okay? Because at this point, I'm there for 2 years. 2 years and a month or so. So I was like, girl, so I'm thinking, God, this is your opportunity to shine, make them lay me off. I could use that money. And plus I'm a loan officer. I have a bunch of closings coming up. I'm going to be fine. I'm like, God, just make them lay me off. Just please, Lord, make them lay me off. Guess what? I didn't get laid off. Of course I'm not going to get laid off. I'm one of their best agents. I'm a hard worker. So I'm like, oh my goodness. I was so pissed. I was upset. I was crying that night. I was just and I felt so guilty. Part of me felt guilty because I'm like, there are actually agents that really love the job and they wanted to stay. And here I am. I'm crying because I didn't get laid off. I was like, God, I really thought you were going to come through for me. I really thought you were going to have them lay me off. God didn't lay me off, y'all. So I'm working. So guess what? Right after the layoffs, the work environment became extremely toxic. Mind you, we work from home. So, it's not like I'm going into the office or whatever, but you could feel the tension. You could feel the fear and the tension that's in the room or in the work environment or whatever. And y'all, the call volume got 10 times worse than what it was before. I'm talking about, I clock in at 8 o'clock. I'm talking about, I'm on the phone all day. I mean, besides, lunch, of course I go to lunch, but y'all, back to back. You hang up with this one, another one came on, back to back. The call volume was so bad to the point that we're all suffering. No one want to say something because a lot of people got laid off. So no one really want to say something, but the call volume was so bad. On top of that, my manager was requesting more work of me. She was just like, hey, when you're done with this, can you do this? I'm like, how am I going to do that? How am I going to do all that extra stuff? Because I'm talking about call volume was so bad to the point, y'all. What really opened my eye is one time I was on the phone talking to a client all day. I felt my body tensing up and I felt like my head was about to explode, y'all. While I'm on the phone, I'm at work from home, so I got a bonnet on, I'm just home. While I'm on the phone, y'all, listen to this. I felt something warm just falling on my chest. I was wearing like a shirt, like one of those little regular shirts, like a little tank top. Y'all, I felt something warm just falling on my chest area. When I looked down, it was blood. Not the blood of Jesus, but blood, y'all. It was blood coming out my nose, falling on my chest. And mind you, all this time I'm on the phone, I have to be professional. So I'm on the phone like, blood's coming out my nose. Not like a little bit of blood. Blood's coming out my nose, y'all. I'm like, all right, is there anything else I can help you with today? Y'all, so blood started coming out my nose. So I'm like, oh my God. Like I started crying. Like I heard and sent my manager a message. I'm like, hey, blood is coming out my nose. I'm gonna be in personal for a little bit. So she said, okay, feel better. Y'all, after that, I cleaned up my nose. Blood was all over the sink. Blood was all over my bathroom. It was so much blood. I could not believe it. I was just like, oh my God, I panicked. So I sent my sister a text. I'm like, hey girl, I don't know what's going on. I'm bleeding out the nose, yada, yada, yada. So that started happening. Y'all, I started having crazy anxiety attacks at work. Like I've never experienced like anxiety in my life. I'm talking about crying where I'm shaking. Like I couldn't even make it through the day. So long story short, blah, blah, blah. We had a few transitions. I get a new supervisor. What really hit me, guys, is when my new supervisor was just like, hey, I noticed that I see that you're one of the top agents. You're a hard worker, but I noticed that you kind of go to the you're impersonal. Not a lot, but he said it's not bad, but I would like for us to focus on improving the time that you're away. Mind you, at this point, I had a 97.7%. And he said, you know what, you can do better. 97 point something percent overall. I'm one of your top agents and you're telling me I could do better? And he kind of indirectly told me to stop going to the bathroom. He was like, well, if I were you, maybe I wouldn't drink so much water. I would just chew a piece of gum to lubricate my throat instead of drinking water. I understand it's hot, but and I was like, well, I'm a woman, so what do you expect me to do, when it comes to that time of the month? He was like, well, I'm not saying not to go to the bathroom, but just, bring it up. We need you guys on the phone, da 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 da. I'm like, what? After that, y'all, remember, I was bleeding out the nose. I'm having anxiety attacks. I'm stressed. I'm crying every single night. I'm not sleeping because I don't know what to do. I'm begging God. I'm like, God, please help me. Please, God, help me. Tell me what you want me to do. Child. God, I don't know. It's like God was saying, I'm going to mind my business in this one. He ain't say nothing to me, y'all. I can't even say it's God that made me quit my job or told me to quit my job. He did not. My health. I started gaining a lot of weight, not sleeping at night, crying every single day, depression. I went to a dark place. I went to a dark place. I started thinking about dying. It was that bad. I was just like, I can't do this no more. Like I'm working, I'm trying to make an honest living. I'm really doing the best that I can do. And mind you, all this time I'm going through this, guys, QA score, A1. My everything looks good. No one knew I was going through this. Because I'm a type of person, I guess that's how I was raised. I always do my best no matter what. Even if I'm suffering, I still do my best. You would never know that I hate the job. But I started noticing a change in me. I started becoming very angry and I had a lot of hate and rage inside of me. And my mom even said, like, what is going on with you? I noticed like I became so rude and just nasty because like, when I started thinking about like crazy stuff and I'm like, you know what, girl, it's time to leave. It's time to leave. Y'all, I didn't know how I was gonna leave, y'all. Like I said, I'm working as a loan officer, and at this point, I did start a business. So I started a business called Millionaire Lux. I'll go ahead and leave the information down below, excuse me. And a lot of people were telling me that, hey, you're easy to talk to. People would vent to me naturally. I don't know what it is. People would vent to me. I did get rude customers, but not all of the time. Most of the time I got customers that want to vent to me. Mind you guys, I have my own problems. I'm stressed. I got problems. I'm stressed also, and I'm not going to therapy at that time. and have people telling me all their issues. So I would attract a lot of people crying on the phone with me or talking to me, just telling me that I think you have a good heart. There's a light about you. And I'm like, how you see there's a light about me? I'm on the, like my mind, I'm thinking I'm on the phone. Like, what light are you guys talking about? But they're like, I could tell you're a good person. You sound like you're kind. You sound like you have a good heart. Yada yada. Thank you for talking to me, guys. It got so bad. It got so bad. I'm telling you. One day before I clocked in to work. I was supposed to start work later shift that day, 10 a.m. Y'all, I was on the floor. I couldn't get up. I started crying. I was like, God, like I started crying. I started becoming angry. I was like, God, like, why did you create me if you had no good intentions for me? I started getting upset. Mind you, at this time I'm a loan officer. So at this time I do have prospects. I do have people that are in the pipeline. I do have scheduled closings that are coming. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? My lifestyle is a little expensive. Like I have bills. So I'm just like, that's probably not going to be enough. And I'm thinking about my income tax check that's coming up. Maybe I could use that. I'm trying to formulate a plan in my head because I'm a little hard-headed, y'all. I'm a little hard-headed. I can't tell you that God told me to quit the job because he did not, but my health. When it got to the point that I'm feeling like every day I want to die, that was scary. So finally I was just like, maybe once I have a few closing coming up, I have my income tax check, maybe I can come up with enough money to quit. Okay, great. So I was like, I spoke to everybody. I spoke to my mom. I spoke to my family members. I was like, this job is slowly killing me. If I die, it's just basically this job. So long story short, we skip through a few months. I quit the job, right? So I quit the job. Y'all, I hate that for me. But guys, I got to a point that it was so dark. I was so sick of the job. I couldn't even give them a 2-week notice. I could not even give them a 2-week notice. I was done. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't even clock in for one day. All I did, y'all, I didn't even clock in. I sent my manager a letter saying, hey, I have to leave today. I have to leave today. And that's not like me because I'm very professional, but y'all, I really couldn't do it. And y'all, after that, I felt a sense of relief. And quitting that job is honestly one of the best things that ever happened to me thus far in my life. And after that, y'all, I went to the doctor to find out what's going on. I'm talking about my doctor was like, what is going on? She was so worried. She was like, what is going on with you? Your heart is under a lot of stress, y'all. Yes, I'm overweight, but I've never had high blood pressure. Never. I work out, even though I'm overweight, I do exercise, I go for a walk, whatever. Y'all, I had high blood pressure. I had anxiety, depression. My doctor had to send me to go get some tests done because of my heart. She was worried that something was wrong with my heart. Stress. This is like a month after I quit the job. Stress. That job literally almost killed me. And I was just like, God, why didn't you do anything? Why didn't you make them lay me off? I didn't hear nothing from God, y'all. Nothing. Total silence. Nothing. And after quitting the job, financially I was okay, but I have a lot of bills. So things really started piling up. Bills started piling up. I don't know. I feel like God really wanted to teach me a lesson. Y'all, I'm telling you, I went through a period where things were so hard and everything in my pipeline dried up. I'm talking about everybody that was supposed to close. I had like 3 or 4 people that were supposed to close. All of it dried up. Everything dried up. Every single thing in my life dried up. Every opportunity of financial gain dried up. And I was just like, God, I don't know what you're doing, but y'all, it's a lot. I'm not even going to go into it. I went on an Esther fast and all that stuff. If you are religious or you believe in God, you can watch that video. I'm going to film it. But anyways, I'm going to close out this video with learn to have respect for yourself. When a situation is not right for you, leave. Pray about it and leave. Like me, don't be like me. 2+ years in, I knew that job wasn't right for me. I still stayed because lack of faith. I didn't trust God. I believe in God. I would say I do, but I didn't fully trust God. I didn't think he was going to come through for me how I expected him to come through for me. So me leaving this, I'm just gonna cut the story long short. But guys, just learn to trust in God and learn to make the right decisions for yourself also, because like that job really could have cost me my life. And I thank God that I was able to quit. Things are not perfect, but I'm trusting and believing in God. If you're working a toxic job, just trust in the Lord, or trust in whoever you trust in, and just leave that job, y'all. Leave it. It's not worth it. But anyways, I'm going to make my next video going into like my Esther fast on what's been happening and going on. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do like my vibe, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching this video and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye for now.